Hey, hi, hello. It's book time. I am going to be reading the book Vespertine in this reading vlog. I actually have started just to get through the introduction stuff at the beginning of the audiobook, and they called it Vespertine. And I'm just going to make a decision and say that they're wrong, and I'm going to continue to call this book Vespertine. So this is Margaret Robertson's newest book. Did I even just say her name right? I'm a little tired. It's early in the morning. It's Margaret Robertson's third book. I have read both of her previous books. I read Enchantment of Ravens, which I rated a 3 out of 5 stars. Thought it was absolutely fine. And then I read Sorcery of Thorns, which is one of the 2 YA fantasy books that have made it on my favorites of all times. I've read it twice. I've rated it a 4.75 both times. I love that book. We'll continue to reread it as the years go on. I can't even point to exactly what it is about that book that makes me love it so much, but the mere fact that I didn't hate the first book and I fell absolutely in love with her second book made me realize I have to read her third book. I pre-ordered it a long time ago. It's been in my Audible app for a few days now because I've just been too busy to start it. So I'm starting it today. I will not be finishing it today, but I'm going to try to make a good chunk through it as best as possible and hopefully finish it up either Monday or Tuesday. It is Sunday the 10th, so I am also doing my weekly reading vlog during this time, which you will be seeing this coming Monday, but that's not important. What is important is, what the hell is this book about? That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't read the summary. I saw who wrote it and I pre-ordered the book. So I'm going to go on my morning walk. I'm going to listen to it for the time that I am out there, which will be probably a little bit under an hour. And then I'll come back and tell you what I know. I'm back. It's hot in here. Nope. I gotta have that like that. Sorry. I'm really hot because even though it is a nice, beautiful day out in Florida, it's like 71 out right now. I walked a lot. So I am in the middle of chapter 5. The audiobook has the chapters marked wrong, so I think that's where I'm at. I'm in the middle of a chapter. And according to the audiobook, I am 2 hours in, so I've listened for about an hour now, and I have 10 hours left, so just about 5 hours left on my speed. I'm definitely going to get to the 50% mark today, and then I'm hoping to finish it up tomorrow. So far, I'm really enjoying this book. We'll have to say the first chapter didn't pull me in like I wanted it to, but I do remember feeling something similar when I read Sorcery of Thorns. And then from chapter 2 on, I've been really enjoying it. So this book, first off, Vespertine is not our main character. Vespertine, I did go and read the summary after I got to this point to see what I could tell you, is a type of warrior in this book. I have not learned about that yet, but I will very, very shortly from what I can tell from the summary. So our main character is named Artemisia, and she works in this convent, and she is a gray nun, which means that she helps prepare the bodies that have been brought to them for death, because if you don't prepare the body properly, the spirit will come out and turn into a shade or a demon or something like that and will try to possess people and cause lots of damage to the world. That's all she really wants to do with her life, though. She was possessed earlier in her life, so she has all these scars, and she has all of these physical and mental scars. She has all these issues, and she's trying to deal with them. And she really doesn't like people. She doesn't want to be around people. She wants to just kind of be left alone. She doesn't want to talk to people, make eye contact with people, just deal with her cadavers and do her thing. Becomes slightly a bit of an issue. Because she has been possessed previously, she is really, really good at sensing relics, which are these items that you can basically, it seems like, put a soul into after a person dies and then have some type of ability, some type of crazy, like there was this one where the person who was wearing it, if they were using the relic, could force the person they were talking to speak the truth. Now, since she has the ability to sense relics really well, they want to take her away and train her, but she doesn't want to do that. And so while she's kind of resisting this, a bad attack happens on her convent where she is at, and she is forced to use this ancient relic that has, let's see if I can remember the word, that has a revenant in it. And so the revenant doesn't want to go back into its relic. And so basically where I'm at, Artemis is being taken away from the convent because she has this revenant sharing her body. And so she can kind of like hear this being talking to her and can allow it to take over her body and do these like spectacular things. but she is like fully in control of her body. She just can't seem to get this soul out of her body. So she's being taken to this place. Where I'm at, they haven't explained why she's being taken to this place, but I'm just gonna assume it's so that they can either use the Revenant or get rid of the Revenant out of her. So what I'm really loving about this book so far is I love religion and fantasy settings. I think it is so fascinating to see how authors take religion and alter it into a fantasy world and change it and make it something new. And I just love it. And then on top of that, I really, really love something that is like a subgenre of that, which is like fighting nuns. I didn't ever end up finishing Red Sister. I one day would love to go back to it, but I loved that theme in that book, and I really loved that theme in this book, and I think it's just like really fantastic, and I'm excited to see more of our fighting nun. I love our main character. I think that that's something that I'm starting to realize about Margaret Rogerson, is that she writes really unique female main protagonists. Like, they are nothing like what you're going to find just anywhere else. I do think that in Enchantment of Ravens, that protagonist is pretty similar to what you're going to find anywhere else. But in Sorcery of Thorns, what is her name? I can't even remember right now. She is so unique and so interesting. And the same with this girl. Like, I am enjoying reading about her because she's not the same old, and it's such a breath of fresh air. I also really love the whole entire Revenant, like, possessing part of her soul kind of a thing, possessing her body, however you want to say it, because it reminds me of what I love a lot of times in sci-fi, which is like crazy AI telling you what to do, because it's kind of this voice in the back of your head that's not totally sane, but is also like telling you what to do and has a bigger understanding of the world that you're in than you do, so you're not totally sure if you should trust it or not. Anyways, it's fantastic. I love her writing. It's so easy to read, and I really like that she like kicked off the story with a good allowing you to understand things that were going on before she picked up the heavy action. But once the action is going, it's important and it's good and it's well thought out and it's interesting to read about. I'm loving it. What am I, like 1/6 through the book right now? So I'm gonna go continue reading and I'll let you know how it goes. Good morning. I've made it about halfway through Vespertine. I'm a little bit over halfway. I'm kind of bored in the book, to be honest. I'm hoping that'll change really soon because I think the plot is about to pick up again. I've had like quite a few chapters in a row where our main character is just kind of injured. And so I'm hoping now that she's healed, we're gonna stop just like learning things. We're gonna actually start doing things. So I'm excited to continue, but I'm on my way to work and I will be listening to a lot of it while I'm there. So I don't know if my next update will be when I've finished or it'll be when I've made a large progress. So I'll talk to you later. I'm home and I've finished the book that is pronounced Vespertine, but I'm definitely 1000% going to be calling it Vespertine until I die. Like, sorry, it's just how I'm going to do things. So I finished it. I finished it about 5 minutes ago on my drive home. I listened to about 3 hours of it today at work. And my opinions haven't changed since the last time I talked to you all. I'm just kind of bored with the story. And I hate that. I hate it so much because like the vibes were so good. In fact, my review on Goodreads is good vibes, just didn't love it. I do want to say that I think a lot of this is because I have just been in a YA fantasy funk like recently. I think it's been a few months now. Honestly, it's probably been a few years in the making, but it's definitely been affecting me the past few months where I have just not enjoyed any YA fantasy. And as I said when I started this video, that Sorcery of Thorns was one of 2 YA fantasies that I have listed as my favorites of all time. In case you're curious, the other one is Six of Crows. The odds of this one also being a favorite of all time was very, very, very slim. I think I just went into it with too high of expectations, and so I'm kind of mad at myself, but I'm also not, because I'm glad I read it, but it was a good book. It was well written, well executed. I really loved our main character. Her hands were scarred all up and down them, and she couldn't use them very well, so I loved having that disability rep, but also she couldn't like really stand being around people that much and couldn't communicate super well with people, had bad anxiety, had phobias and fears that crippled her from doing things. I really enjoyed seeing her rise above some of the things and also not be able to rise above some of the things and still become a saint in the eyes of the people. I really enjoyed some of the side characters. I thought they were really great. I thought they were well done. I just didn't care about the plot. I didn't. It was boring, and I felt like the book was really slow and there wasn't much that happened, and what did happen felt very predictable to me, so I wasn't like super into it. The vibes were great. The aesthetic was great. Like fighting nuns, of course. I love that. That's fantastic. It's wonderful. If you're interested in this book, I think you should go out and check it out and read it and see if it's for you or not. But if you were kind of on the fence about it, then maybe don't read it. One thing I do want to say at the end here is a lot of people ask me a lot of times about books afterwards, and I forget to mention whether or not books have romance in them. This book had zero romance. There wasn't even like a hint of anything romantic with any characters at all. There weren't even like vibes or anything like that. So if you're going into this wanting like a YA fantasy romance, that's not what you're gonna get. So I do actually appreciate it for that, because I feel like a lot of times YA fantasy is synonymous with romance, and that shouldn't be the case. Romance should be like a subsection of YA fantasy. It shouldn't be assumed into YA fantasy. I ended up rating it a 3 out of 5 stars. That's my final decision. Let me know down below if you've read this book, what you thought about it, if you're planning on reading it, if I've changed your mind about it, and what you thought about it if you have read it. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I will talk to you in the comments. Bye!